Ba 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 da da ba da 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 ba ba da. If you didn't hear from the theme song, tonight we are discussing Superman and the Superman movies with the new release. So we thought it would be fun to sit down and give our rankings of all of the Superman films and see where this one might just fit its way in. I think it makes the most sense to start, like Maria von Trapp would say, at the very beginning. So I'm going to start with Christopher Reeves with Superman from, 72?
78.
8! Yep. Wowzers. I mean, for me, my enjoyment of the films, also similar to Bond, follows sway with how I enjoy the character or the actor playing the character in good measure. There are some outliers. I really like Christopher Reeves a lot as Superman, so that goes a long way. I think he does an amazing job of playing both Clark and Kal-El. Good aplomb on both, unique, different characters of each, without one feeling weaker. And I think that's some of the knock against some of the later Supermans. So that's probably my favorite part about his Superman in general, is it feels like the most complete and the most true to like the comics, where he's just a truly good person that wants to do well and tries to do his best for everybody, even in the face of incredibly horrible odds and people that want to do horrible, nefarious things to him, and he still holds true to his moral stance and guidelines. Superman was great. It was one of the first true superhero movies, if not the first. His character and how he plays it, I love the dynamic between him and Lois. So I would put Superman 1 and 2 pretty even in terms of my ranking. Superman 3 is a bit of a drop-off. It feels very much like he was doing it because they asked him and paid him some good money, but the story just isn't as good. So 1 and 2 are really good. I'd say 1 is probably a 7.6 out of 10 for me, and 2 is probably a 7.1. 3 is probably closer to like a 6.5.
Now I just need to figure out Mission Impossible 2 bar. What is Mission Impossible 2? You just need to know if it's above or below.
It's I'd probably put it on par with the third one.
Okay.
But it's definitely below Superman and Superman 2. Then we got Superman 4, which...
Who's the actor that plays him in that?
Still Christopher Reeve.
Okay.
So that was his last hurrah. And it truly feels like going through the motions. But like probably, I don't remember if it's 1 or 2, but one of my favorite scenes from any Superman is he's talking to Lois through a door, and you can see him like visually transform from Clark into Superman just in his face and his voice, and it's really subtle acting, but it's fantastic because it is two distinct characters that he's playing. He's not just like slightly changing his voice a little, like it's like his shoulders change, and like it's really well done. And again, the nuance of it adds to my appreciation of his performance. I would put 4 a little bit above 3 for me. I would probably be like a 6-9. But yeah, then we had a big old hiatus. So Quest for Peace was what, 87? And we jumped all the way to 2006?
All the way to 2006.
And indeed, he did return. This one I have a strong affinity for because it came out when I was in high school. It was a moment because Superman was back. We hadn't had one, and obviously Christopher Reeve had gone through his horrific accident, and he had passed away, but he was still Superman. And I think the story is really cool. I think Brandon Routh looks like Superman, but he was so wooden from an acting perspective that it lost a lot for me.
Wooden? What do you mean by wooden?
His acting performance was... He was just too no affect. It was just very little behind the scenes is what it felt like to me. So I would probably give that one a 6'6", maybe.
So even
So that would probably be right between Superman 3 and 4. Again, I enjoy parts of it. I think some of the plot makes sense. It's an interesting take that potentially Lois's son is his son. And this might be a choice by the acting and the director, the actors and the director, but I didn't feel much chemistry between Lois and Clark. So I think maybe there's a little bit of a standoffishness that they chose to do there, but the chemistry of like, I could see them being an item in the past didn't really feel like it was there. A lot of it didn't work for me. Some did. It was cool to see him on screen. The beginning big stunt with the space shuttle and catching an airplane in a baseball field. Physics be darned. It's cool.
yeah. We don't watch superheroes for realistic physics.
Right. That was that. What do we got? Dawn of Justice?
No, Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. Oh, yes. I'm a big Cavill fan. I think I enjoy his acting. I have not seen Witcher, but most of everything else that he's done, I've enjoyed. I don't think everything he's done is great quality overall, but I've never not liked him and what he's done. So when I heard that he was going to be Superman, I was really excited, and I think he's the most Superman-looking part. I think he had a good balance between Superman and Clark. I actually like his Clark a little more than his Superman. I think his Superman is a little too... Maybe stoic isn't the right word, because I think the character's kind of supposed to be stoic, but I wish there was a little more emotion from the Superman side. I think his Clark is great. Very funny, glib, plays that well. I really like the interplay between him and Amy Adams. I wish there was a little more of that. I think they had some really good chemistry. And I think the guy who played General Zod, Michael Shannon, there it is. I think that's an underrated villain performance across any superhero movies, or at the bare minimum, not talked about enough. Him and their relationship, and then Michael Shannon as Zod, elevates it above Superman 3 for sure. Maybe teetering around Superman 2 for my preference. So I'd probably put those right in a similar par.
If I may, I really liked some of the ways that people dealt with Superman, trying to figure out how do we work with this thing we can't control, and the overall approach of how he tried to kind of stay not well known, but then they find him essentially, and he turns himself in, and they're under this impression that they can do something, and he just shows them, no, you can't.
Yep.
Look, I've been here for 30 years. Nothing's happened so far. Nothing's going to happen. We're not pointed at the right thing. Let's point at the right thing. That scene is amazing. I don't want to spoil too much of it, because this is probably one to watch.
A lot of people do push back on the scene with his dad. I think it's okay. I like how it plays. I think it builds the character and informs a lot of his later decisions. A lot of people see that scene, which, again, I won't spoil for you, but they're like, no, he never would have done that. He could have done this, and then that didn't happen. But I think it works in the scene. I think it works for the character. It works for the story. I liked this movie because it's kind of that darker, grittier DC story type without being grim. But this one, I think, struck a good tone between let's make it a little bit more realistic and gritty without being so heavy. So I like that one a lot. So I would, like I said, I'd put that one pretty high. Then we get Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Dawn of Justice.
Blarg.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, no, I'm as I already alluded to this a little bit, but I'm not a fan of the heavy dark. I think Shazam is good. This Superman that I'll talk about, this new one, and Wonder Woman are the best version of the DC so far. I think Ben Affleck does a good job of being Bruce Wayne. I think his Batman is too coarse, too gruff, and again, it fits the milieu of that grittier DC. But I don't like it. I don't think it plays very well. I don't love the dynamic between them here. Obviously, it's the setup of the movie. It's Batman versus Superman. And I did like seeing Henry Cavill come back because we didn't get to see a second Brandon Routh and see where that story went. So this one, he got to show up again. Obviously, shows up a little bit in Justice League, but you can keep it. I would put that at a upper 5s, maybe low 6. Probably down there with Superman 4.
So if we're talking superhero movies, Thor: A Dark World, or this.
I'd put Dark World above it.
Yeah.
I think that one's got some stuff going for it.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. And then that brings us to our newest release,
2025.
2025. I loved it overall. I'll try my best to not do any spoilers. I think David Corenswet does the best job of the original version of Superman from the comics and the TV show, and kind of on par with Christopher Reeves in that nice balance, truly to your point about destruction and casualty. Like, he is to a fault concerned about every last person and the hair on their head before anything else. And I think he plays that really well, really earnestly. It's a fun movie. Some people might say that James Gunn kind of MCU'd it a little. I don't think it goes that far. I think it's very distinct from the MCU, but it has lighthearted moments. I think the guy who's playing Lex Luthor is real good. Like, the whole movie he's almost the main character. And it's essentially a 2-hour journey of watching him just go from feeling in control to essentially everything's gone terribly wrong, and then his descent in that process. And he does great in it. Nicholas Hoult, I think is his name. I loved it. He was manic. He was egotistical. It was great.
Which is the Lex Luthor character.
Yes,
I mean, that's him.
But it's hard to play that and not be so over the top that it looks cartoonish. Like, everything he did, I believed that character would do in that moment. And I never believed a second of that from Jesse Eisenberg in Batman versus Superman. No, thank you. Pass.
Now, is that just his performance on that, or is that Jesse Eisenberg?
No, I like him in other stuff. I think he's fantastic in Zombieland. I love him in Social Network. So it's definitely not a Jesse Eisenberg thing. It's just he wasn't the right guy for that movie. Maybe it would have been elevated with somebody else. Yeah. But it didn't work for me. I think Rachel Brosnahan as Lois was fantastic. I think the dynamic between her and Superman was great. I loved the fact that you're just kind of thrown into it. This isn't another origin story. We've had that more than enough, especially for Superman. But this one is just like, Superman's been here. He's been doing his thing. Come along with us. You'll catch up. And we do. It's great in that respect. Crypto, the dog, is in the trailers. I thought that might be a little bit of a gimmick, or he's in like one scene that they show in the trailers. No, he is essential to the plot.
That's awesome.
And it's really fun. So I had never read the comics that had Crypto in it. I've never seen any of the episodes of any TV shows that have Crypto in it. So when the dog showed up, I was like, oh yeah, I've heard about him having a dog before. But it was really cool to have it be so ingrained in the plot. Yeah, it was just a really, really fun time with the movies. And I would put it right up there with the original Superman. I went in excited, but feeling like this will probably be a solid 6. And I walked out probably 7.8. Not quite an 8, but getting close, which is a high score for me for a superhero movie. So, highly recommend.
Nice.
Grab some popcorn, sit down, bring some loved ones, and just enjoy some good time at the movies.
And now, for the guy who hasn't seen any of these, does it make sense to go back to the original Superman 2, see those renditions before you'd go see this brand new one? Or do you think it stands alone enough that you can just go watch it and then go back, or do you think that actually would give you value going into this one?
I definitely think they stand alone enough. So I would recommend watching Superman 1 and 2 and this new Superman. I don't know that an order necessarily stands out.
Okay.
Of you need to start here. I think you would appreciate what Christopher Reeve does with the character either way, whenever you watch it.
Yep.
But watch 1 and 2 near each other.
1 and 2 really do go together, so they're worth watching together.
So I've actually only seen a couple episodes of Lois and Clark, but I've seen all the way through Smallville, and I think it's not necessarily an origin story of like what happened on Krypton and how he flew here, but it is the origin of Superman, the metahuman that lives on and cares about Earth. It's a really well done journey into how Clark became Superman and the pieces that built him. So
I like that.
there you go.
I like that.
Superman. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.